Okay, we are now ready to go over the point in time trial balance journal entry upload process. So to start, I've already downloaded my December 22 and January 23 trial balances from QuickBooks. If you don't know how to do that, I've got some instructions down in the class notes. I also want to point out that this spreadsheet is also available in the class notes, and I'd recommend downloading this and you can go through it as I'm going through it. Okay, so to start, I'm actually going to look at a journal entry in NetSuite, and I want to make sure that every required field that I want populated on this journal entry template has a column in my spreadsheet. So in my case, I can see that I've got currency and exchange rate. The exchange rate will default to 1, but I've got my currency set is the US dollar internal ID, which I can get from searching currencies up here, right-clicking, and you'll get a tab with all the currencies. So that's how you would get that field, that internal ID. We've got Subsidiary, which I've already hard-coded in. I've got a Memo. I've got the approval status, which is set up as a reminder that I need to populate that. And then I've got my line information, which I'll get into in just a second. So I've also have a separate tab for my name lookup. So this is a reminder. This is the internal ID for that import AR customer and import AP vendor. And this is going to pull in anytime the NetSuite account type is accounts receivable or account payable. I've got my account map, and again, this is how all of my QuickBooks accounts are getting mapped to my NetSuite accounts, and then my class map, which I'm not using for this part of the class. Okay, so now let's go to our December 2022 trial balance, and what I'm going to start to do is I'm just going to, as I always do, I'm going to get rid of all of my non-essential data, get a nice tabular format, and I'm just going to copy all my debits and credits, and I'm going to go ahead and copy those in right to my spreadsheet. And then I'm going to take these rows, and I'm just going to copy them down, and now I can see that I have all my formulas are pulling in automatically, which will make this much easier for you. And I can see right now that I've got 2 accounts that aren't mapped. And so let's dig into this. So retained earnings this is an account that must not be included in my account map. And this account, you can see, has got a couple levels of parent-child relationships. And so I'm going to go ahead and copy both of these. And if you might have more. And so what you can actually do is take the filter. I'm going to just sort largest to smallest. And I'm just going to go ahead and I get the falses all at the bottom. And so I'm going to take those 2, come over to the QuickBooks account. I'm going to also add the freeze pane on there. And so now I've got those 2 accounts listed, and you can see that these are pulling in. So that's a good start. And so now retained earnings, I'm going to go ahead and map that. I know it's account internal ID 52. I know it's an equity account type. And I believe it's 3070, and it's called retained earnings in. So I'm just going to copy and paste that in. And again, we can go see, like, okay, now great, our formula is working the way we expect. For this other one, this is just a difference with how the QuickBooks trial balance brings in parent-child relationships versus kind of the chart of accounts, which only pulls in the child. And so what I would recommend to start is to just look at, okay, here's the child. It's an income account. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, all right, well, that's where this one should be mapped. The reason I do it this way as opposed to changing this field here is that if you're running this 12 24 times for a trial balance. You don't want to change this field 24 times every time you pull it in. So just throw it into the map file and then you'll have it. If there are accounts that are missing, that just aren't in there altogether, then what you'll need to do is you'll need to do the work to figure out where you want that account to be mapped. Okay, so now I can see that that's coming in. I can see that my name ID is populating on the AR and the AP. And again, as a reminder, that's to prevent that no vendor or no customer line on there aging. I've also concatenated, I'm using a formula for the memo, which you can tweak if you want for your own purposes, and then same with the document number. The document number, or you can set that as the external ID, is only going to be required if you're going to load multiple entries at once, which is what I would recommend after you've loaded your test entry, because that's just going to make it a lot easier for you to create these uploads. Okay, so one of the things that I want to point out about the point in time approach, and again, remember what we're doing is we're loading the trial balance as of 12/31/2022, and then we're going to reverse it on the next day so that it's back to 0. And then on January 31st, 2023, we're going to load the new trial balance amount. And so we would include this reversal date, except we need on months where you cross over a fiscal year, you're going to need to manually reverse the entry. And the reason for that is because that if you rely on NetSuite's reversal functionality, it's going to take all your P&L accounts and reverse them to the P&L accounts, which you don't want to do because QuickBooks, like NetSuite, automatically reclassifies your P&L accounts for the prior fiscal year to retained earnings. And so the prior year's P&L accounts will now be reflected in retained earnings. So you'll have a mismatch in the way that it's reversed. So I'll show you real quick how to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my period that's crossing the fiscal year, the entry. So in this case, December 2022. I'm just going to copy those lines. And I'm actually going to go ahead and just reverse my debits and credits, right? Again, because this is, I'm reversing these entries. I'm going to change the date to be 1/1/2023. And I'm going to change the formula here to say reverse 12/2022 summary TB. And then you're also going to need to add this to make that unique. Oh, actually, this should be so we'll do it that way, right? And so now you can see that I'm reversing the balance. Oh, and then I have to also, this is actually the most important part, right? Is I have to change the account for any income or expense accounts to the retained earnings account. So that's going to be 52. And so I can see income, and yeah, there we go. So now we can see, okay, I don't have any, there's no P&L accounts being posted to. They're all going to retained earnings. Okay, so that's how you would treat the reversal for a journal that's crossing over the fiscal year. So now let's do the January 2023, which is a little bit more straightforward. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my January 2023. You can also just copy and paste those. And I'm going to go ahead and populate those in here. Well, actually, before I do that, I'm going to take this top line. I'm just going to update the date. And then you can see that the formula automatically updates the memo and the document number. And so that's going to make it really easy for you to just kind of copy and paste and put those in. And so basically now the next step is you basically just copy and paste those trial balances into this section as we kind of discussed, and you'll just update the date and then update your account map for any of those additional accounts that might get added. Okay, as I mentioned, the spreadsheet is going to be available to download, so you can leverage that for your own purposes. And yeah, good luck. Please leave any questions in the course notes. I will be monitoring that and try to help you out. Yeah, so this is how you prepare the journal entry upload file into NetSuite. I guess the last step would be, I would recommend saving this file as a support file, as a regular Excel file, and then to copy, to take this tab is what you're going to actually upload into NetSuite. And so to do that, I'm going to click move. I'm going to click move it to a new book, create a copy, and then I'm going to go ahead and save this new tab as my CSV file. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, Browse, and then I'll just go ahead and save this as a CSV, and you can call it Optimal Data Journal Entry Upload. And so now it's a CSV file, and you can go ahead and upload that into NetSuite. All right, thanks for watching this video, and let me know if you have any questions in the course notes. Thank you.